Hey, folks. Welcome to another episode of Post Loons. I'm your host tonight, Jacob Schneider, joined by one of my co-hosts tonight, Jeremy Rushing. MJ will be joining me soon, but he is on his way back from a Minnesota United supporters group watch party. What a night to be able to
Yeah.
watch Minnesota United with other fans. I mean, you've got a contest that is relatively slow through the first 45 minutes, one shot on target in the first half. And then you get the second half, and things are starting to slowly build, Jeremy. And then it just explodes in stoppage time, and Minnesota United get the win. It's brilliant. It's phenomenal. I mean, I can't imagine the atmosphere, what it would have been like at those watch parties tonight.
Yeah, this is a really, just looking at the win as a whole, it's a huge win for Minnesota, but it's also another game in which the Loons got back to what they do best. And especially until Reynoso is back healthy, this is how Minnesota is going to win games. It's going to be games that aren't very pretty, aren't very, very fun to watch at times. They're going to be more defensively sound, not giving up many shots or shots on goal, not producing many shots or shots on goal themselves. But all they got to do is find that one moment of brilliance. It was Bongi against Houston. It's Bongi against Portland tonight. And, they're back to playing their game. It seems like the 4-2-3-1 is the formation to go in. And, yeah, what a win. What a night. MJ must have had a blast out with fellow Loons fans. Because, I had a blast in my basement. So I can only imagine what it was like out with other people.
Yeah, no, and I can understand that incredible. Like on the same level, Jeremy. I struggled through the first 45 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, it was MLS After Dark.
Yep.
I'm sitting here on a Saturday. I'm like, what else could I be doing on a Saturday night at 10:30 p.m.?
Yep.
But this is sports. This is sports.
Yep.
Anyways, folks, welcome to another episode of Post Loons. Again, thank you for tuning in. It is hashtag MLS After Dark. It is ridiculously late. If you're here with us, just know we appreciate you first and foremost. I mean, it is 12:20 a.m. in the morning, Jeremy, and we just got off a press conference with Adrian Heath and Bongi Hlongwane, and I mean, what a night for MLS. Results across the league, incredible. Just everything tonight seemed to go really, really well. The Hell is Real Derby was phenomenal. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, I mean, MLS tonight really kicked it out of the park. But folks, if you're watching tonight, be sure to share this stream wherever you are watching. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Send us those questions too in the chat. We've already got a few of you in here. Before we went live, we had viewers commenting and putting questions in here. We love that. That's fantastic. We appreciate you, Dave Valensky, Paul Forrester, for hopping in here before we even went live on the show. But first and foremost, folks, again, if you are watching and you want to send us a question, send it. You're on YouTube, send it. You're on Facebook, send it. However, if you're watching on Twitter, unfortunately, you cannot send a question in the chat, but you will be able to tweet at us. My Twitter handle @_ Jacob Schneider. My name is right there on the screen. Just add an underscore before it, and you'll be able to tweet at me, and I'll put the question in the chat, and we'll talk. Throughout the night here, we're going to be able to take your questions, and we're going to talk you through things. We'll explain what we heard in the press conference from both Heath and Hlongwane. And I mean, it's a quick turnaround for the Loons too. Tuesday night in the Open Cup, they travel to Houston. They will not return home until Wednesday morning next week. I mean, this is a big trip for them. A lot of tired legs, a lot of minutes being played. There's a lot to go through. So, Jeremy, what do you say we dig into it?
Yeah, let's do it. So, I got a question for you, Jacob. To start off.
Go for it.
Obviously, through 94 minutes, this was looking like a road draw. If this ended up 0-0, how would your feelings of the game have been? Considering you mentioned it wasn't very exciting, there weren't many chances either way. Would you have seen that as a positive result for Minnesota, considering maybe the chances they had, but obviously they were limiting Portland's opportunities too?
I mean, phenomenal. A 0-0 draw would have been great. Portland are fantastic. Like, they may not have the flashiest results. They may not have the best record in the Western Conference right now, but watching them tonight, you wouldn't know that. Mm-hmm. They were so defensively composed. Their midfield is phenomenal. I mean, we got to talk about two players in particular. One, Mascara. What a defender they have on their hands. He is brilliant, like beyond brilliant. McGraw, very solid on the back line too. But, the main talking point for Portland has to be Evander tonight and how unlucky he was not to score.
Yeah.
But when you pay $12 million for a player, Jeremy, that is what you're going to get. That's what you need to expect. it didn't come through the first few games this season, but he's slowly starting to build into the player that both the Portland Timbers and Major League Soccer expected him to be. And I just genuinely, he was phenomenal tonight. And that shot that went off the top of the crossbar, I saw the dip on that, and I was like, "This is a Tostitos commercial. Just watch. It's gonna go poof, right down in the corner of the net." But got lucky. Dane was beat. I mean, phenomenal strike and phenomenal player.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be where Portland was able to take advantage of Minnesota with Evander. Not only his ability to shoot from outside the box and his quality in that regard, but the service that he can deliver. I mean, he can put a ball on a plate on a dime from pretty much anywhere in the box. And with Minnesota's set piece defending or lack thereof in the early portion of the season, I thought that's where the Loons are going to be really vulnerable. Credit to Minnesota, though. They didn't allow Portland too many opportunities inside the box. 11 block shots for the Loons tonight defensively as well. And the opportunities Evander had, yes, he's a really good player, and one of them probably should win in the back of the net, but they forced Evander to take opportunities from outside the box. And I think that's honestly, when you're facing a guy of that quality, that's honestly the best you can hope for. Let him shoot it from 20, 25 yards out and just hope he doesn't put it in the back of the net.
Hope he's not Tony Cruz. He's the only one person in the world who can consistently do it. It's Tony Cruz. But Jeremy, here's a question for you from our friend of the show, always in here commenting, always in here watching, Dave Valensky. Is it the greatest Minnesota regular season win of all time so far?
Look, it is up there. But to me, being at Allianz Field in 2019 when they clinched the playoffs on Hassani Dotson's late winner, I don't think anything's going to beat that. Something really significant would have to happen to beat that for me. But this is a really good one. This is a really good one. This is up there, maybe top 5 or 6. But to me, that Dotson banger at the end to send him to the playoffs in 2019 is probably still the number one for me.
So here's Dave's follow-up. He says, I'm still in shock. We're a whisker away from losing the game, whisker away from picking up a point, and then we just put the ball in the back of the net and said, we'll take 3. By all means, it was one of those where, you walk in there expecting the bare minimum, and you beat the bare minimum with a point, okay?
Yep.
Then you get like a free dessert on top of on top of what you ordered from your server, and it's like, we'll take this too. Yes, please. Like, 3 points in Portland on the road. Minnesota's road record this year is ridiculous. 4th clean sheet of the year, by the way, Jeremy. Big shout out to Miguel Tapias, Michael Boxall, Kamar Lawrence, and DJ Taylor. That group has been stellar.
Really good.
I'm trying to think of the word to describe it. Rock solid.
Yeah. I mean, you take out the Chicago match and then you take out Kansas City, and this is one of the best defensive seasons that we've seen from a Minnesota United team outside of those 2 outliers. So I totally agree with you. And their ability to get results and wins on the road to sort of counterbalance what they haven't quite done at home, obviously getting that first win of the season, the home win of the season in MLS play this past Wednesday against Houston. If they can start putting it together at home and start stringing wins there and just keep half of the quality that they've gotten on the road, they're gonna end up in a really, really good spot. I mean, I think they jumped to 5th in the standings. I know it's very, very early to be table watching right now, but I believe they're 5th in the Western Conference table right now, considering the losing streak that they were on and the winless streak that they were on heading into this week. So I think all in all, you got to be feeling really good about where this team is and how this team stands, especially with Emmanuel Reynoso on the horizon.
Well, hey, Jeremy, I'd like to thank you so much for joining me for the first, what are we looking at? 9 minutes of the show or so. But my co-host MJ has arrived home from the Minnesota United watch party. And look at this. We're going to switch overlays real quick.
All right, bye guys. I got a story to write.
No, stay.
All right, ready. Wait. This is going to be like, what's the one movie? Oh God, I'm trying to think of it where it's just all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, and gone. Look at that magic. Shout out!
But wait, I'm back. No,
and look at the power I have. The remove button. Can I kick him? Oh, I can't kick him. That's tough. No, he's left the studio.
He's the boss. I appreciate the last minute sub. I feel like I'm a great last minute sub, like Heath.
What position would you play?
Last minute subs.
What's your men's league position? Or pickup in general?
When I'm playing.
Yeah. What's your position, MJ? If you're getting subbed on, where am I putting you?
You want me at maybe center midfield or yeah.
I
center
set my
midfielder or basically you want me someplace where you don't want speed. So
here's my flex, MJ. I set my high school's record for the most yellow cards in a season my junior year.
Ozzy Alonso, I love it.
Yeah, they call me the Will Trapp of Centennial. No, I actually had 11 and 17 games.
Did you have to miss any games for that?
No,
Or
no, there's no suspension in high school.
There's no yellow card accumulation in high school?
No, there wasn't when I was
trying to
playing.
teach you guys. I thought they were trying to teach you responsibility.
But that this was also JV, so I don't think anybody cares about JV.
Yeah.
I also scored a brace in my final game of my high school career, if you care. That was my glory days.
This is the important part, Jacob. You cared about JV enough to score goals.
Yeah.
And I care that you scored goals. So that's two of us that cared.
Boom. All right, folks. Back to Minnesota United chatter. MJ, you were at a Minnesota United watch party tonight, right?
Yeah, I was at the Iron Door.
Talk to me a little bit. What was the atmosphere like when Bongi netted that 95th minute winner?
It was pandemonium, right? Like everyone's cheering. Everyone that's cheering for the Loons is cheering. And the other cool thing about the Iron Door, even the people that were watching the Twins and I don't know if it was a wedding party, birthday party in the other room, like they were cheering. So like it was great.
I love that. So one thing I have to ask you, MJ, too, is would you have been, so Jeremy asked me this question, and if you're in the chat here, chime in too, give us a comment, give us your thoughts. Would you have been okay with a 0-0 draw on the road in Portland? And then does a road win change that, or are you content either way?
If you're asking me, I would have been very happy with a road draw. One, because I have very low expectations for road trips in MLS. Even a team that we tend to have a good road record win against, like Portland.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to be a positive Peter right now.
I don't know where the heck I put my cell phone, but I just wanted to be able to check Twitter and make sure nobody tweeted questions at me. But I legitimately have no idea where I put it. I'm sitting at my desk and I haven't left my desk in like 4 hours. I have no idea where I put it. Anyways,
I can see if anyone's tweeted at Sota Soccer. I don't know if I can see if anyone's tweeted at you.
But folks, if you have questions, throw them in the chat real quick. Let's start talking. Hear what you have to say. We've got Paul Forrester saying, "I'll say once again, Bongi is everything." A lot of credit to Mender for chasing that ball down. And also credit to Arriaga for unselfishly laying that off for Bongi. Huge 3 points. I think that's a fantastic point. Is Mender Garcia had a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very mellow cameo until that moment. He didn't make a lot of an impact. There wasn't much from him, but in that moment, he chases that ball down. The energy and the sprint speed, everything, it doesn't happen if he doesn't do that. And it's late match work ethic. That's the drive you want to see from a player who is fighting for minutes, a player who is out of the pecking order, down number 3 right now, if you're looking at it with Luis 1, Sengbin 2, and Mender 3. It's a fantastic display of passion, and that's football, that's soccer for you. But really impressive from Bongi. I thought Arriaga had a great cameo off the bench. I think he was very influential in the flow of the final 35 minutes or so when he was on. And
that first touch on the sideline, my goodness, to go around the guy.
And he almost, the thing is too, Arriaga almost fired home too. He had a brilliant shot inside, like 12 yards out, let's call it, 10, 12 yards out. And it was cleared off the line by, I can't remember his name, but one of the defenders from Portland. And, great play there. Great play. That
was the one touch off the corner kick, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, it was a great one touch.
And knowing that, I can take Paul's question down. Sorry. Blocking my face. And one thing I know too is that going into Tuesday, you have nearly, if necessary, you have 120 minutes from Sengbin, and that's huge. And if necessary, you have 90 plus from Arriaga. If needed, you have Cam Dunbar, Z Valentine, Doniel Henry's healthy. Clint Irwin will likely play in net. if the cup rotation continues. And he had a great performance against the Union when he was in net. I don't think you can blame him for either of Kai Wagner's goals. Two genuine golazos. And, he's a veteran in the league, and he's played an MLS Cup. I mean, you can't ask for much better of a rotation goalkeeper than that going into Tuesday. But Adrian did say one thing here, MJ. Adrian did say that we will not, as things stand, see any short-term loan agreements before Tuesday's Open Cup match. No players will be joining them in Houston. That means Emmanuel Iwe. That means Devin Paddleford. That means Diogo Pacheco, who is very in form for MNUFC 2, might I add. Pat Weah, players like that. So I think, they'll be content with the group they have. And as things stand, the only injury is Mikael Marquez and Robin Hood. Pretty solid.
Yeah, that's great. And I have this as one of my points, but coming off 3 wins, a U.S. Open Cup win and 2 MLS wins going into that Open Cup, that's great.
Yeah. No, I hear. Okay. Yeah. No, sorry. I didn't know if you were adding more to that. I was like, is he saying something else, or is that the end of the sentence? We've got Connor S. in the chat. Quick stat from Connor. Minnesota United are the only team in MLS with 4 road wins. 4 road wins, and they also have 4 clean sheets. They don't coincide, but they have 4 clean sheets, and they have 4 road wins. It's really impressive. It's really important. If you can replicate that form at home at Allianz Field this summer, you're looking at a 4, 5, 6 seed in the playoffs, and that's huge. But there's also Leagues Cup to play. There's also more Open Cup to play. There's, Emmanuel Reynoso to be introduced. I mean, things are looking up for the Loons. This is a really positive vibe. And if they can go and get a result Tuesday, it's a very, very impressive 3-game stretch. And all plaudits will be going to Adrian Heath for that, for the momentum, for the play, for everything around that. MJ, looking ahead to Tuesday, what do you kind of thinking with the quick turnaround? Are you feeling confident for Minnesota? Do you feel like the Loons are ready for that, or is it just too much in too little time?
No, I'm confident. We're playing an opponent we just beat in Houston, correct?
What's that?
We're playing Houston?
In Houston, yes.
Yeah, so we're playing an opponent we just beat. I don't think the lineup is going to be as similar to the last time we played them, that they're going to have a lot of, for one thing, if Sangbin starts, so I think we have a good chance to go down to Houston, and I was just about to say steal 3, but there's no points in
no, but still a win in either regular or extra time. What are you thinking?
Oh, I think regular time.
Okay.
I think
I'd appreciate it. I'm tired of these late nights.
But honestly, it's so hard to win away. Like Houston's going to make it tough.
It's also the introduction of Hector Herrera and Bassi back in the lineups. And, Herrera has been one of the top midfielders in Major League Soccer this season. And then Bassi is a menace, man. He's a creative attacker. And,
I forgot about those 2 players' absence. That's it. Forget what I just said. We're going to extra time.
Extra time, all right.
Extra time, and it's up for grabs. It's like
all right,
either
folks,
team could win.
Give me your thoughts in the chat too. But we're going to jump back to tonight. I've got Dave Stevens in the chat giving his reaction to Bongi's goal. Here we go. Just hoping for the point over the last 15 minutes. Fell off my couch when they stole all 3. Loons deserve to be on the right end of it for a change. That's a big point. 2 major moments this season where the Loons have lost at the death. And you've added the Open Cup context. They lost it twice at the death, technically, and then won it at the death. So, we'll leave that one out. But to be on the right end of it for a change is a big plus. So we asked Adrian Heath about that post-game. We asked Bongi about it post-game. And they both were pleasantly surprised. And, it's a good feeling to be on that other end every once in a while, because it's devastating when it doesn't go your way. And knowing that, it went your way, it's a great feeling for them. Connor S in the chat says a draw would have felt fine. A win feels so much better. Here we go. MJ, I'm going to let you tackle this one. We got Colin Hawkins here in the chat. I don't want to lean too far on the assumption we may go on a run here, but I'm curious about your thoughts on why through 2022 and now 2023 this club is so streaky. Is it confidence alone? First thing I'll say is streaky is MLS. It is every team. I'll use the example of St. Louis and how they started the season compared to now. I'll look at the Seattle Sounders. I'll look at the Philadelphia Union making the semifinals of the CONCACAF Champions League, and then look at their club record during that stretch too. Streaky is MLS. MJ, take it away.
No, I have nothing more to say than what you just said. MLS is a very streaky league. You look at a lot of teams are feast and famine, and they go on losing streaks or win streaks. And here's the other thing that I'll say about streaks. Because there are draws, you can not twist, but you can slant your stats to saying winless or lossless, or, like unbeaten or winless streak, whether you want to paint it as negative or positive, whether you want those draws to be a good thing or a bad thing. And so just by the nature of the sport and having wins, losses, and draws, and also the way you see streak stats manufactured sometimes, it's a very streaky league.
So we've got Dave Stevens here in the chat. Dave, again, thanks for chiming in tonight, Dave. We appreciate it. This is Joseph Rosales stepped up tonight. He did. Phenomenal performance. Curious on your opinion about the squad minus Robin going forward. He hasn't scored, but he's always an important player in the lineup. Ari Joseph Rosales. I'll jump in here and I will say that Joe is still very young. He's still a very young player in the lineup, still a very young player in the league. He has got a very bright future. And this might just be one of those unfortunate scenarios where he might have to be a little patient because 1, Hassani Dotson, 2, Will Trapp, and 3, Kervin Arriaga are all ahead of him in the midfield pecking order. And he's kind of playing this inverted winger role where he drops back and then he pushes forward. It's like, we'll call him like a wingback midfielder. They're playing with 4 defenders, but then there's Joe playing like a wingback role as a left wing, left mid, center mid, left back, striker, all around left-sided dude. And he's just doing it. I mean, I don't know if anybody got a chance to watch the US U20 World Cup game today. Baby Nats pulled off a 1-0 win with a stoppage time victory, by the way, over Ecuador, 1-0. And it was a wicked volley on the right side of the box from Jonathan Gomez. And I just couldn't help but think, right side of the box, 94th minute, who's stepping up? I mean, Bongi replicated that moment. And for me, this afternoon was pure joy. I'm thrilled for the Baby Nats, still to see them move on. Ecuador is a very tough foe. But I look at this and I think the role that Jonathan Gomez played that game is how I would describe Joseph Rosales for the Loons today. And it's someone who is being played slightly out of position, but still doing phenomenally because they're just that talented of a footballer. I mean, really, 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 really impressive stuff from Joe tonight. You might see him roll out as a starter Tuesday too, because, the one thing we always say is that despite tired legs, these younger footballers might have a better chance at recovering in a quicker manner than some of the veterans and the older players on the team that are match fit. MJ, any thoughts on Joe's performance tonight? Any thoughts on what we witnessed?
It's always nice to have another Swiss Army knife that is not named Robin Lod or Hassani Dotson. It's nice to see Winnell come in, get slotted in at a winger role.
Yep.
When maybe you don't think of him as a winger, and like you said, he's up and down the left-hand side and playing well. I think it's a good thing. I totally agree with you that his stock is rising, or as a young player, he has a lot of potential. So let's hope that he can build on this performance and the Loons can build on his performance and he just keeps on getting better, because I like what I see so far.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And I look to Tuesday. I think that's a big opportunity for him. MLS PA salaries dropped this past week too, MJ, and
everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite. I mean, Connor S in the chat mentions that Luis Amarilla is being paid $800K and the production isn't there, and I will agree. And then I will also say, Connor, Xherdan Shaqiri is the highest paid player in Major League Soccer. Like, I think we kind of don't. We just Loons are in the bottom, like 6th in wages in MLS, and look at how they're performing. Luis at 800K is genuinely nothing, if I'm being frank. He's being paid more than some of the more productive players at the moment, sure, but Xherdan Shaqiri is being paid 8.2 million a year, and it's not there. Chicharito, not there this year. Driussi, not there this year for Austin. Some of the highest paid players in the league. Just Douglas Costa is like the 8th most highest paid player in the league, and Douglas Costa wouldn't even make the Loons bench at the moment. Adrian Heath would send him down to the 2s, and then Cam Knowles would bench him there. Like, Douglas Costa might be the worst MLS sign. Might be the worst. I'm going to call it. Douglas Costa is the worst signing in MLS history. If you factor in salary, you factor in stardom, you factor in the Galaxy aspect, you factor in everything. He is the worst signing in MLS history. There's my take, folks. Expectations too. Yep, it all plays into it. And Jeremy, who was just on the chat on screen here with us earlier, Lorenzo Insigne at 11 million. There's hasn't been a ton from him either, and he was bought from Napoli, and who just won the Scudetto? Napoli. I mean, salary in MLS is a bunch of BS, frankly, because these players could go on to make so much money elsewhere. They could go on to make so much more money in their future. Contracts are always renewed. There's trades. There's, everything. Factor in that all. 800K for a DP is basically the lowest level you can get for a DP in terms of salary. Mender Garcia is a young DP, and that's why his salary is at like 320, 350K, somewhere in that mix. It's because he's a young DP. But at a regular DP level, Luis Amarilla is almost at the bare minimum. So I think, a little slack needs to be put under that context there, because, they're not paying 8.2 million a year for nothing. They're paying 800K for effort, but a lack of goal scoring. MJ?
I would agree that there are a lot of reasons to be frustrated with Luis Amarilla's play. One thing that I would like to separate from that is Luis Amarilla's pay. Yes. Because if you are angry with Luis Amarilla's pay, I would like to point out that Luis Amarilla did not choose to pay him that amount. There was a front office that chose to pay him that amount. So if you are frustrated with any player's pay, you can direct that frustration at coaching, or more appropriately, those who chose to sign him for that amount of money. But there are plenty of frustrations about Luis Amarilla's play. But I will say, on the positive side, last game, the Houston game, he almost had that header goal that was on the tail end of about 5 amazing Loons passes. This time we had 5 amazing Loons passes towards the end of the game, and we scored. But, I don't think, that was just a great save by the goalkeeper. I don't think if Amarilla scores that goal, we're hearing as much Amarilla hate. Also, I think a lot of things about Amarilla are overlooked. So people don't like that he's a hold-up striker instead of a goal-for-goal striker all the time. Sometimes when he holds up, he has no one to pass to because other people aren't going forward. They're going to assume Amarilla coughs it up, so they don't make the effort to run up and help him. Sometimes, like tonight, he played really good defense, which is not something you think of a striker. On one corner kick, he had a very important clearance on defense. And so there are other aspects to his gameplay than scoring goals, which, yes, you expect the striker to do, but there are other aspects that I think are easily overlooked for Luis Amarilla.
So I got one more question here before we hit kind of the halfway mark of our show tonight, and then we're going to give a big old thank you to our sponsors on the night. But MJ, I want to take this one because I think there's a clear answer, and I think there's a smudged answer on the screen. Typically, when you spend big, it works out. Typically, that's just soccer in general. There's very few times where a team goes above and beyond their transfer record and that player is a dud. Very few. It doesn't happen very often. But one thing I will say is that Bobby Firmino is a free agent. Like, I know St. Louis is rumored to be interested, but Bobby Firmino to Minnesota United, make it happen. I mean, he is. I mean, the rumors to MLS are there. At least make the call. The guy is. He walks into any team in MLS right now and starts. Any team.
I would
Bruce
agree with
Arena,
that.
the New England, yep. LAFC with, yep. Toronto, yep. Philadelphia, yep. Any team.
But they are not looking for anybody yet, right?
No,
So they're not
no.
going to.
No, I'm just saying, if they do go, and get a big wage striker, get Bobby Firmino. And if it's not Bobby Firmino, go get Adam Buxa, former New England Revolution striker. Is now with RC Lens in Liga 1, and he has not been playing a lot. He's been scoring with their B team, though, and like bringing him back to MLS where he flourished feels like a win-win. So Buxa or Firmino, those are my shouts. Those are my fun little tidbits here. MJ, who would be your dream striker signing if Minnesota United, hypothetically, were to make one this summer?
Oh, gosh. I do not know enough about the striker market.
Any striker in the world that's reasonable.
Yeah, no, you don't understand how little global football I watch these days. So
okay.
So which you watch almost everything, and I watch almost nothing except for the teams I care about. So
Tuesday, 1:00, USA Baby Nats.
Yeah.
All right. 1:00. Fox Sports Go Telemundo.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I know. Folks, we got to thank our sponsor for today's show, and it is the one and only Pence Homes. Have you ever? Oh, I gotta pull their thing up. Sorry, guys. But Pence Homes, they're local out of Minneapolis. Nate Pence, fan of Sota soccer. Nate Pence is fantastic to us. If you've ever been looking for a home in Minneapolis, Twin Cities, the local area, Pence Homes is the way to go. We'll jump back up onto the episode in just a minute, but we got to tell you more about Nate. Owned by Nate, Pence Homes was founded on the idea of providing customer service that exceeds expectations and making home buying and selling process as simple as possible here in Minnesota. Nate and his team specialize in St. Paul and Minneapolis. He can help you navigate this ever-evolving market with the right tools, right technology, and expertise. Pence Homes knows how to help you get the most for your house and get you into the home of your dreams while staying in your budget. Contacting Nate is really simple. Just go to pencehomes.com or email him directly. That's Nate at pencehomes.com, NATE at PENTZhomes.com. Pence Homes proudly supports local Minnesota soccer clubs like Minneapolis City and Minnesota Aurora, and we're extremely grateful they're extending that support to here at Sota Soccer. PENTZhomes.com or email Nate at pencehomes.com. MJ, back to the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking transfers. We're talking what's looking ahead. The biggest thing for Minnesota United is still to come, and it's Emmanuel Reynoso. We haven't talked about him yet. His first training session will be Thursday this coming week, or Friday. Sorry, Thursday or Friday. Has not been determined yet. We'll get a schedule from the club this week, and that'll be the first time we'll be able to speak with media, the first time we'll hear the story from him. But we did see a bit of a teaser release, a statement made by him on the club's website. Did you get a chance to see that the other day?
I did.
What we talk about the cliche that words speak loud, or actions speak louder than words, but words are a good place to start. What's your initial response here?
Well, and I would add to that, words are a good place to start. He said a lot of the right things, and there is an action component of him getting on a plane and coming to Minnesota.
Yep.
So that's also a step in the right direction. And I don't know if you guys remember when a goalkeeper coach was fired from Minnesota United, but they were really hush-hush about it. Everyone wanted more information about it, and there was nothing that was said. And, you can go into a lot of conspiracy theories on why he was fired or what else not. But for certain situations that are sensitive or not beneficial to one party, right? They're just going to really hurt one party. It is in a lot of people's best interests to say very little about a situation. So I would just caution everybody and encourage people to curb their expectations a bit.
And I'll add here, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, folks. You don't ever know what anybody's going through. You don't know anyone's personal lives, and despite frontward frustration, a little peace, a little trust, and a little, just I'm glad you apologized, and it might take a while, but you're on track, and I appreciate that. Might factor into it more than just immediate frustrations. So at ease. We'll learn more this week. More than anything, though, I think Minnesota United is just glad to have him back.
Also, like, personal issues was used as an umbrella term for a long time. We now know a little bit more that it was most likely something family related.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know that he feels bad or regret about it and thinks he should have done something different about the entire situation. And honestly, if I never hear any more than that, I am at peace with him being back on the team.
I think that speaks for a lot of the people. And, the individuals that he really hurt were his teammates in the club, and building those relationships back up will be the priority at the moment. Of course, football is nothing without fans. Soccer is nothing without fans. But it's those super close personal relationships that he's going to have to mend again. And I think that'll be something he works on top of getting match fitness. Got to get match fit, Ray. Hopefully we see him by Montreal on June 10th. That's my hope. So
I was going to say mid-June. So that's
Montreal.
Maybe a little earlier than I would expect. I would, later June, early July. But I don't think, if you're being an optimist, if you're being a positive Peter about it, that like June 10th is unrealistic.
He's on two a days and 3 a day training sessions right now, by the way, so to get match fit. So folks, we ran out of questions in our chat. We have 15 live viewers right now. Send us your questions. What do you want to talk about? I mean, MLS was phenomenal today. I'm going to bring up the Hell is Real Derby, because that one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. FC Cincinnati might be my favorite team in Major League Soccer right now from a neutral perspective. Lucho Acosta, man. Oh, he was brilliant. Dom Baji, too. I mean, Brandon Vasquez was – Sincere, just great, guys. Columbus played really well. It's unfortunate. Georgios Giamak – I'm going to butcher this terribly. Georgios Giacomakis from Atlanta United has been one of the best signings of the year, too. And he's being utilized really well. They're managing his minutes. They're bringing him off the bench, and he's influential. And Thiago Almada is still doing Thiago Almada things. One thing I do want to mention, though, is that I saw St. Louis City defeat Sporting KC 4-0 and get back to their winning ways.
Barbecue.
It's really unfortunate for me personally that they chose to put that game on national TV this weekend with some of the refereeing decisions that we saw in the first half. MJ, I feel bad for Sporting Kansas City. I really do. It feels like there were some very unfortunate decisions that didn't go their way, and it really took the toll. And it really was just the match. One thing goes wrong, it's hard to come back. But when two straight things go wrong, and they are genuine errors, they are genuine missed calls, it's really hard to come back from that. But Sporting are slowly gathering themselves, looking at the team that we know they can be. MJ, anything stand out to you today across Major League Soccer?
Real Salt Lake getting a much-needed win away against the Rocky Mountain rival, Rocky Mountain Derby. That 3-2 win, I understand why you wouldn't put that on national TV given Real Salt Lake's record this year. But what an exciting game that was. 5 goals scored. Salt Lake wins 3-2 away at Colorado.
Speaking of Salt Lake, I'm going to jump back to the U20s today. Oh, boy, did Diego Luna look good. My man, I don't know if you know who Diego Luna is. He's a youngster on RSL, MJ. He's got tattoos up to his neck, and he's 19.
He took a break from acting?
I know. Here's a fun little story about Diego. I guess he worked at a coffee shop while also playing for RSL after signing a professional deal, just to be able to be a kid again, too. I love it.
Love it.
But Diego, has some of the smoothest footwork I've seen from a young American in the box since a young Christian Pulisic. Strictly talking footwork, brilliant display from him today. When he gets back to RSL after the U20s, this is going to be really good for him, and I bet they're going to be even better. We've got another question in the chat here. MJ, I'll let you tackle this one because I know that you have thoughts on Sangbin being benched versus Luis Amarilla.
Well, one, it's obvious to me that as much of a speed advantage that Sangbin gives you, and energy and technical ability, one, his first touch is not good. And two, he is not match fit for 90.
No.
So whether you want to take him out at the 45th, 60th minute or put him in late as an Energizer bunny off the bench, you could argue that do I like Sangbin in general as a striker more than Amarilla? Yes. Do I think he should start at this point in time? Probably no.
I like your take.
I would say start Mender over Amarilla, but I like I said, I think there are good reasons to criticize Amarilla, and I hear all that, and I would agree with probably about 90% that I hear from the Amarilla haters out there. I also think there are some positive aspects to his game that are easily overlooked.
Connor S in the chat. Toronto looking hopeless against it. Sorry, MJ. I almost laughed while you were talking because I saw this comment pop up.
Connor, thank you for all your interaction. Love it.
Yeah, Connor's lighting up the chat. We love to see it. Toronto have been embarrassing. But what I do want to talk about as we wrap up the show here and get to the final 10 minutes or so is Wayne Rooney and DC United.
Woo-hoo.
It's not just the Taxi Fountas show anymore, folks. It's not. There's a legitimate method to Wayne Rooney's madness, and it is working, and it makes me happy because I think, one, Rooney's a very likable guy. I hated him at Manchester United because here's my typical every show where I bring up Chelsea. I'm a Chelsea fan. If you didn't know, you would know that if you watch every week because I don't have a show without bringing them up.
How do you think I felt as an Everton fan when he
Hey, Yerry Mina.
Oh yeah, no, I'm happy, but when Rooney lifts up his shirt after he scores and it's like once a blue, always a blue, and then he goes to Manchester United. Not only is it, you could say, the rival city in North England as far as Liverpool versus Manchester, but he goes to the wrong color. Once a blue, always a blue, my ass. Now,
here's the thing.
Can you fault him from going from Everton, how Everton were playing at that time, to a team like Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson, how they were playing at the time? No, you cannot. But
and we may not like Manchester Red.
Guy. I totally agree.
We may not like Manchester Red, but we will always know London is blue.
Yeah. Well.
All right, folks. Back to MLS. We got to keep the Premier League out of this.
You're totally right. Wayne Rooney is doing good things at DC United.
Yeah. And I think it's really impressive what he's doing with Christian Benteke, especially. Click has been phenomenal. What a signing he's been. Everything seems to be coming full circle for them. And it's really cool. They got the MLS All-Star game this summer. And then Connor, one more thing from Connor. He's just lighting up the chat. Over under how long he remains a manager in MLS. He will remain a manager in MLS for a while because he needs to grow as a manager and he needs to learn. And I'll compare it to Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry left Montreal for personal reasons, of course, because of the pandemic. His family was not here or was not with him in Montreal. But then he went on to be an assistant with the Belgian national team at the World Cup, and he worked with that group for months. Now he's an analyst with CBS, and he's in contention for the U.S. men's national team job reportedly. But more than likely, I would imagine Thierry doesn't get a big name job or anything anytime soon because there's just not that much. How do I put it? Not that much to his resume.
Yeah,
and first team coaching is really important, and I think people will see the turnaround job he did with DC, and maybe it's a 3 or 4 year project, but He'll find his way, but it's going to take time. And I think, it's just really impressive what we've seen from the start here, and it's only the beginning for DC United. MJ, we have 45 minutes in the show. You want to wrap up here soon?
Yeah. What do you want? You want me to give a point?
No, I think what we'll end up doing is, folks, we'll go do a last call for questions right now. We've got 12 live viewers in the chat right now. Send those questions in. Reminder, if you're on Twitter, you can't send them in. Facebook or YouTube, send them in. Tweet at us at our handles here if you have a question. We'll wrap it up real quick here. We just hit the 1 a.m. mark, but I've got Paul Forrester in the chat here saying, not that I want them to turn it around because it's funny and I want them to be a dumpster fire, but what does the LA Galaxy have to do to turn their season around? Is it too late? One, you have to go back in time and not sign Douglas Costa for all that money. Two, you have to go just wait. Two, you have to go back in time and not screw up to get a transfer ban for foreign players this summer, or like incoming players from outside of MLS. And three, you have to remove Greg Vanny from the helm. And if you don't remove Vanny, you have to remove Klein. Football is nothing without their supporters, and you still have ongoing protests every week due to Klein's continuous how he remains in position with the Galaxy. And sometimes you have to let your fans win, and it's unfortunate because you never want to outwardly say, I want this person to lose their job. That's just not how it works. But when you're talking sports, when you're talking soccer and MLS, if your entire focus is on the growth of your team, the growth of your fans, and getting back to the powerhouse that you know you can be, 5-time MLS Cup winners, I mean, it's Vanny or Klein, and one of them is going to have to go soon. And at the same time, maybe you have to try something new because we know how talented Ricky Puig is. Ricky Puig is their Emmanuel Reynoso. They can be a very average team, put Ricky Puig in it, and they're MLS Cup contenders on their best day. Minnesota United can be a very average team. You put Emmanuel Reynoso in that team, they're MLS Cup contenders because one player can single-handedly do that. But then the Galaxy also have the addition of a striker who strutted the Santiago Bernabeu, Old Trafford, Chicharito Hernandez. I mean, he's done everything. He can do everything still. Age is nothing to him. They just don't give him what he needs at the moment. And it's very frustrating because as much as we all like to make fun of the Galaxy and at the moment, like I enjoy my bits here, there's just not enough happening off the pitch to see them excel. MJ, anything else there?
Not on the Galaxy. I do have the Atlanta Chicago game being equal on goals and equal on red cards was very fascinating to me from around the league. And then
hashtag MLS After Dark.
And I just, to get back to the Loons, I just want to say how impressed I was with the defense. Yes, on the stat sheet, there's a clean sheet for Dane St. Clair. He had a lot of great saves. There were times when our defense looked bad and it looked like Portland was going to score. And that's going to happen every game.
Yeah.
Not that Portland's going to look like a score, but our opponents are going to look like they're going to score. And there was some dangerous stuff in the box by them. But if you look at Boxy with a couple key header clearances in a row, you look at Luis Amarilla clearing a dangerous ball off of a set piece. You look at how we defended some tough free kicks and some tough corner kicks. And Tapias playing great. Kamar Lawrence, for all of his horrible passes in the offensive third, defended well in the defensive third.
Just doesn't hold back all those horrible passes. I love it.
Yeah. So, and what really impressed me from their run of play defense was very deliberate double teams. These were not random see ball, chase ball, like instinctual in a bad way. Like,
okay,
bad
I hear what you're saying.
Run at the ball, double teams. These were, they have the back to the net, back to the goal, back to where we are going to press. So we're going to double team, or they're having the ball here. They don't have a lot of people around them, so we can afford to double team. I do not know if this was something that they talked about deliberately in the locker room, but I saw it tonight on the pitch where the double teams were very deliberate and very smart.
Sure.
Something to bode well for the future.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap up here shortly. But before we go, MJ, I'm going to ask you a question, but you're going to wait to answer. I want everybody in the chat and who's watching right now to send a comment in the chat with your answer. Through week 14, who do you believe is Minnesota United FC's leading scorer in MLS fantasy? MJ, keep your thought to yourself. If you're in the chat, type your answer. No looking it up, no cheating. It's like 1:10 a.m. Don't be that person. Give us your answer in the chat. We'll see if we can get a few of you in here, and then we'll say what it is. But we're gonna do a quick wrap up and a quick look ahead. We've got the 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup on Tuesday. It's Minnesota United versus the Houston Dynamo. It's a clash between two sides who know each other well. They just played last Wednesday, but it's a different group for the Dynamo. They have their most important player, Hector Herrera, returning to the midfield. He served a red card suspension last Wednesday, and their leading scorer in Bassi up top on the left wing. Excuse me. And I look at that and I think, the Loons have to prepare for an entirely different formation, an entirely different team, an entirely different project. And I just, I think they need to really look at that and think it's not going to be Wednesday again. It's just not. So that'll be Wednesday night, 7:30 kick, 7:30, right? Right? Am I right there, MJ? Oh God. I don't have it on
my app.
Yeah, MJ. What? FOTMob?
Nope, I use Flash Score.
Okay.
FOTMob pissed me off. So
sending too many notifications of goals before you see them.
No, they switched their format on me. I don't know if you know this. So when I say I don't follow global football, I don't follow in knowing players' name, knowing players' stats,
okay.
and seeing a lot of individual game results. But I do follow a lot of standings and a lot of macro, like how teams in general are doing over the season. And yeah, I had all my leagues and cups sorted the way I wanted, and they did a huge reformat with no way for me to preserve that.
Oh no!
So I just said, nope, done with you.
All right, what are we looking at for Tuesday night, folks? Get those answers in the chat. We've got 2 answers only so far. There's 9 of you watching. Let's get like 1 or 2 more. Who is Minnesota?
We're at 7:30.
Yes, 7:30
Houston time. Which, for those of you that don't know, Houston time is the same as Minnesota time. So 7:30 our time too.
Now you know, like the one meme. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And no one's half the battle.
All right, MJ, give me your answer. Who is Minnesota United's MLS fantasy leading scorer? Your guess.
Fantasy leagues, like total points overall.
Total points scored through this week.
Over all positions.
Over all possessions.
Oh God.
You can repeat and answer in the chat if you want.
Giacomakis?
No, Minnesota United's leading scorer.
Oh. I have no idea. Dane St. Clair?
It's not Dane.
Yeah. No, I have no idea.
We'll go in order here. Wrong. Sorry, David. Wrong. Sorry, Paul. Wrong. Sorry, Connor. Wrong. Sorry, Dave. Not Bongi, not Dane, not Curvin. Last chance here, MJ. I'll give you one last chance. Who is it?
Wait. You're gonna give me
all those are wrong. Come on.
Tapias.
No, close. He's second.
Oh,
it's Michael Boxall.
Yeah. Good on Boxall.
Michael Boxall has been one of the most consistently performing defenders in MLS fantasy, actually. So big shout out to Boxy. Folks, if you need a budget defender for MLS fantasy, he's one to keep an eye on. All right. That's week 14. That's Minnesota United versus the Portland Timbers. That's our recap.
Well, Loons.
Yeah. Connor S says one last thing in the chat. If you say it, Luis Samaria, I will riot. Luis has, I believe, like 26 points only, and Boxy has surpassed 70. So we'll use that as context. It's Loons versus Dynamo Tuesday night in the Open Cup. It's win or go home. Emmanuel Reynoso returns to training later this week. It's a big week for the Loons. There's a lot of storylines going on. Sangbin returns to the starting lineup Tuesday night. Adrian Heath confirmed that post game. Bongi has now tripled his goal scoring record from 2022 with Minnesota United, 6 in all competitions so far this season. He's finally starting to look like the player they all hoped he would be. South African international, right wing, left wing, striker. He can play all three. Fun little tidbit from the press conference. Bongi told me that he talks to his mom before every game now, because in the Open Cup, he called her beforehand and she went off at him saying, you need to repay this club for taking you, for the fans loving you and everything. You need to score a goal tonight. What did he do?
If you haven't read that article by
He went and
Jacob
scored.
Schneider on Sota Soccer, read it. The quote from the mother is in there. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
But against oh God, I'm blanking here because it's late. But last weekend at home, Bongi did not score. He did not talk to his mother before that game.
ooh.
Wednesday, guess what he did beforehand? Talked to his mom. Today, what did he do beforehand? He talked to his mom. Bongi is.
I sense a pattern here.
He's just a delight, folks. God, what a genuine person too. Just a delight to have around, and he's been really fantastic for the Loons. So hopefully we see more of him Tuesday, MJ.
Yeah.
But Sangbin is going to start. I'd let my guess is we see some rotation with Clint Irwin, Brent Coleman, Zarek Valentin, Cam Dunbar, maybe Donu Henry. Maybe he makes his 2023 Minnesota United debut with the first team.
Maybe Rosales starts again.
I could see Rosales starting. And I think it'll be a waiting game to wait and see. It could be a very similar lineup to tonight, and maybe those guys just got to play on tired legs, and it's going to be all tactics. Tuesday night, 7:30. The stream is BR Football on their YouTube. Be sure to tune in. We'll have content up on Sota Soccer. We'll keep it going. We thank you so much for joining tonight. Thank you for all the interactions. Thank you for all the questions. MJ?
All of our viewers, thank you so much.
Reminder, folks, if you are enjoying the content we put out on Sota Soccer, one, give us a follow and give us a like on social media platforms. But also support us on Patreon. It's as little as $3 per month, and that donation goes towards every single content creator on Sota Soccer. That's going to include MJ and the Minnesota Aurora beat that starts up later this week. MJ, are you excited for Minnesota Aurora?
I am overwhelmed and excited.
Yeah.
We have 2 games in 1 week right off the bat. We have a home opener against Rochester.
Wednesday night at TCO, right?
Yeah. Wednesday night at Twin Cities Orthopedic Stadium in Eagan. Please join us. If you have never been to a Minnesota Aurora game, this is not one not to miss.
And folks, MJ is going to be on the Minnesota Aurora beat for Sota Soccer this season. He does a phenomenal job there. What a team. What a squad. Some incredible players. And of course, MJ is going to be serving up the content over the next few months. But like I said, folks, Patreon, little as $3 per month. And that money goes towards all of us. It's little things like Eagan is a 45-minute drive for me if I wanted to go. MJ has to drive to Eagan. If I drive to Allianz Field in St. Paul, it's little things like that. And constantly we're growing as an outlet. We're growing as content creators. And we're nothing without you all. So thank you so much. And I want to give you a little preview of what's going to happen this week now. We're going to have a major Patreon giveaway on my Twitter page this week for our subscribers. And for those of you listening at 1:15 a.m. on Sunday morning, I'll be doing a signed Christian Ramirez photo that from his time with the Loons and NASL that we'll be giving away, along with maybe a few other things for our Patreon subscribers. We try to do little things like that because you guys mean the world to us, and we're nothing without you. Just like a football club is nothing without their fans. So if you want to get in that giveaway, subscribe to Patreon. Everyone who's already signed up is already entered, and then we'll do we'll do some social media pushes for it too and all. I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. For Matthew Johnson, for my co-host MJ, I'm Jacob Schneider. This is Sota Soccer. This was Post Loons. We'll see you Tuesday following the conclusion of Minnesota United versus Houston Dynamo in the 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.